Hello everyone and welcome back to the pond. My name is Frank, aka Bullfrog TCG, and today I have a really spicy Ahri deck for you guys. Last time we played Ahri, we played more of a traditional build with the blue Ahri in the champion zone. Today we are playing the green one, the Ahri Alluring, though we could honestly probably play either of in this case. We're not really going too hard into either one of those, but this is a Spellslinger deck. And the reason I wanted to try to build a Spellslinger Ahri deck is because of two cards, and you can probably see them on the screen right now, but I will get to them. And I actually think this deck is pretty sweet. But before we get to the deck list, if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more from me, then please take the time to like and subscribe and maybe even write a comment. It really helps to support the channel, and I would be forever grateful. But okay, we are of course running the Nine-Tailed Fox, the Ahri Legend. And we are running the green Ahri, the Ahri Alluring in the champion zone. 5 energy, 1 power, 4 might. When I hold you score 1 point. So this, along with the Yasuo and the Tryndamere, are like cards that let you score points outside of the normal ways. And we played one of the other ones, the Yasuo, in the previous video. So make sure you watch that one as well. And as I said, we don't really go too hard into this ability in this deck in specific. But this is also same as the Yasuo, you kind of only want to play this out at the end when you're trying to go for the final point, because it is a bit squishy. It costs 5 energy and 1 power for 4 might unit, which is pretty low statted. So it dies very easily, but if you can protect this, then the points are just going to roll in for you. But okay, let's take a look at the units. So we are playing the package of Ravenbloom Student as a 3 of. This is a Spellslinger deck, so we kind of have to. It just grows when you play spells. Just a really solid play on turn 1. We're also playing 1 Stalwart Poro. Some of these numbers can be like changed. I haven't really settled on them yet, because it is a very tight deck list, and there are a lot of stuff I want to fit in here. But we are playing 1 Stalwart Poro just to have another turn 1 play in case we don't find the Ravenbloom Students. We are playing 2 of the blue Ahri in the deck. As I said, we could switch this out for the green Ahri in the champion zone if we want to. But for now I like it in the deck. This is also just a really, really good card to get early, because this card is, when this card conquers, is really hard for your opponent to get the battlefield back, because this gives a -2 and then the legend gives a -1 as well, so they really have to like go hard to get this battlefield back. But of course it is a bit squishy, so you have to make sure that you have some like backup spells and stuff to kind of protect it as well. And then we also run, one of the reasons to play this Spellslinger deck is the Victor Innovator. So 4 energy, 1 power, 3 might. When you play a card on an opponent's turn, play a 1 might recruit token in your base. And we're playing this in this deck because, I mean, this is obviously meant for Victor, the Victor Legend, but green is such a reactive color that I felt like the Victor actually fits better in this, not necessarily in this deck, but in this color combination. Like green and blue I think is a very good color combination for Spellslinger in general, especially for this one when it relies on you playing stuff on your opponent's turn. And between like the Defies and the Discipline and On Guard and all of that stuff, you can really get some really good value out of this card. And then for the other payoff, we are playing Kai'Sa Evolutionary. So 6 energy, 1 power, 6 might. Ganking. When I conquer, you may play a spell from your trash with energy cost less than your points without paying its energy cost. Then recycle it, and you must still pay its power cost. Now, like the Victor, this is also meant to be played in like the Kai'Sa Legend. But in that deck, it plays kind of a different role, because you're kind of meant to be playing the red spells like the Void Seekers and the Falling Stars and stuff like that, but that also relies on your opponent having stuff you actually want to use those cards on. And especially for the Void Seekers that only target stuff on the battlefields, this becomes significantly weaker because of that, because it relies on your opponent. It relies too much on your opponent, I feel like. But I feel the same as with the Victor, like the green cards are such a good cards to get back, like the Discipline to draw your card, the Stupefy to draw your card, like Charms to just like pull units into your battlefield or whatever. Like you have so many cards that are a bit more flexible, and even if your opponent doesn't have anything, you can still just get back a Discipline and get a free draw for that. So for that reason, I think this card is really sick in this deck, and the fact that it has ganking as well means that you can just bounce back and forth between battlefields without having to like take a turn off to go back into the base. And that is kind of the key with this thing, is that you wanna have cards that are cheap enough that you can consistently get this effect off every single time you play her. Because one of the problems you run into if you're going a bit too greedy and you want to play like your big spells, but then you're only on like 4 points and you want to play a 5 energy spell, then you won't get to do that. But with this deck, I think I've really hit the sweet spot with like the spells to play in combination with the Kai'Sa. So yeah, I think this Kai'Sa is really sweet in this deck. And then we play 2 Tasty Fairfolk. This is just a really good card to have some extra aggression. It is a big body, it doesn't die that easily, and then if it does die, we get some resources back in the form of runes, and also we get an extra draw, so it replaces itself, which is really nice. And then we have to play the Thousand-Tailed Watcher. This is just like the big swing card in blue. Just gives everything -3, comes in accelerated, and just basically takes over the game. That's kind of what this guy does. And then for the spells, we are playing the kind of standard green package, or the calm package, with Defy, Charm, and Discipline. We're also playing the On Guard, just to give some extra protection to the Kai'Sa and the Tasty Fairfolk, because they are 6 might. And what does 6 power or 6 damage for 2 energy and 2 power? Falling Star, correct. And this is just a really cheap way to protect those. And also, like, if you have a singular unit you're attacking with, like +2 for 1 is just really good. And then we play the Find Your Center. This is just a really good card to both to play on curve. It's also really nice to get off the Kai'Sa, to just, if you don't have anything else you want to do, you can just channel 1 and draw 1 for free, which is just amazing. And then of course it just gets cheaper when you play it in the late game. If your opponent has 5 or more points, this costs 1, which is of course great. And then for the blue cards, we're playing Retreat. This is just a really, really good card to play like as a protection card for the Kai'Sas and the cards you want to protect. You can also use this offensively, like if you attacked with a Thousand-Tailed Watcher, you can retreat the Watcher and then just play it out on the same turn and conquer the other battlefield, for example. And that did actually come up today, so keep an eye out for that. They were of course playing the Stupefy. This is also just a really cheap card for what it does. It gives something -1. It's a reaction, so it can react to, I mean, anything. And as I said, like with the Kai'Sa, if we don't have anything else we can play, we can just use the Stupefy to get a free draw off. And they were of course playing the Smokescreen, probably the best blue spell in my opinion. Just a -4 might for 2 energy and a power is just really, really good. Basically stop your opponents, like this in combination with the Ahri champion and the Ahri legend just means that anything is just going to become a 1 might unit. And again, this is really good to use with the Kai'Sa, because that allows us to maybe minus the might on the other battlefield so that our other units can come in and take over that. So yeah, this is just a really, really good card. And then we're playing of course the Sunny's Hourglasses for the protection. We want to protect our Kai'Sas and our Faefolks and our Thousand-Tailed Watchers and our Ahris, of course. Just a really important card. And then for the battlefields, we are playing the Targon's Peak. When you conquer here, ready 2 runes at the end of this turn. We do, as I said, want to protect our stuff, and the best way of doing that is to have runes ready to use our spells, and this just helps with doing that. We're playing the Dreaming Tree. We're all playing a bunch of buff spells, and like the Discipline on the Dreaming Tree means that it's just +2 might and draw 2, which is amazing, and then everything else is just draw 1. Yeah, this just really helps our game plan. And then we're playing 1 Reader's Row, just because sometimes we just want to move our guys back. And I mean, we don't really care about, we don't need the Kai'Sa to kill anything to get the effect off. It just has to conquer. So we don't really care about our opponent moving stuff back. And it also gives us some extra protection as well, because we can just move stuff back if we don't want them to get killed. And then for the runes, we're just running a split of 6 and 6. And I do have a sideboard as well. We're playing 2 Foxfire, 3 energy, hidden action, kill any number of units at a battlefield with total might 4 or less. I think this card is really sick. I just feel like it doesn't come up that often. And maybe that's because of this build just doesn't really play that hard into this. But I do like having it as in the sideboard if we feel like we want to use it, because it is a really good card. And between like the minusing from the Ahri champion and the legend, this can take out a lot of stuff. They were playing 2 Windwall to counter big spells. We're playing the Adaptatrons to just take care of the gears, specifically the Dazzling Aurora. And then we are, of course, playing 1 Time Warp just in case we want to go for the memes. Like, don't let your memes be dreams, you know. If we can get the Time Warp off, we will. I will probably build an Ahri deck that is more focused into this Time Warp, because I've seen builds of Ahri doing that pretty consistently, and I really want to try that out. But for now, I'm really just running this as a fun-of or a one-off. So yeah. But yeah, that is the Spellslinger Ahri. We are going to jump into some games. Please enjoy, and I will see you at the end for the wrap-up. Okay, and our first game is going to be against Kai'Sa, Spellslinger versus Spellslinger, I guess. We're on the Dreaming Tree, and our opponent is on the Reaver's Row. So yeah, let's see how this goes. We have quite a an interesting hand. We have both the Victor and the Kai'Sa, so we kind of have everything we want, but maybe not in the early game. We're going to lead off with a Stalwart Poro. Our opponent is going to lead off with a Ravenloom student. We're going to attack with a Poro, get a point, and then we are just going to play out the Victor. We're kind of crossing our fingers that our opponent doesn't have a falling star here, because if he does, then that is going to set us back a lot. But if he doesn't, then we can probably start doing some stuff starting next turn. Okay, he's going to play a Sprite Mother, attack into our Poro. We're going to give the Sprite a -1. And the Poro is going to get a +1, and then he's going to Stupefy, and well, I mean, the thing is that we have to use the Reverse Row effect. We kind of have to declare that as soon as the thing activates, and I wasn't clear about whether I wanted to do that this turn, so I was like, okay, well, you know what, let me just be fair, let me just say that I didn't want to use it, and then I just let the Poro go. But I mean, in a real game I probably would have not let the Poro go there, so yeah. I did get to trade to kill the Sprite as well, so that's always nice. Then he's going to attack with the Ravenloom student, that is fine. We draw into a retreat, that's going to be good to protect our stuff. We're going to conquer with the Victor, kind of going back and forth. The thing is that we can attack into the Dreaming Tree as well, but attacking into the Reverse Row feels way better, because here we can protect, we can kind of just move him back if he gets attacked. If we attack into the Dreaming Tree, then he could very easily just play out the Kai'Sa and then just kill our Victor like that. So yeah, we just feels a bit safer to attack into here, and then also our opponent doesn't get the whole point for the Ravenloom student, which is nice. Okay, we get the point there. We are gonna charm the Ravenloom student here. We are gonna remember to get a point as well. We're gonna charm the student, and the student is gonna die, and we just pass the turn there. We do hold up the smoke screen and the retreat, so if our opponent does try to do something funny here, then we do have a way to stop that. But for now, our opponent probably doesn't, because we do have the Reverse Row, so even if stuff goes overboard, then we can just move him back. Okay, it's gonna play out the Kai'Sa, conquer into the Dreaming Tree. The Kai'Sa is definitely something we want to take care of. We can't do that now, unfortunately. Okay, we're gonna move back the Victor. And then here's the thing, because we could play out the Kai'Sa, but playing out Kai'Sa without any buff spells just means that if he has a falling star, the Kai'Sa is just gonna die, and we really don't want that to happen. So instead we just go back conquering, and then we just play out the Ahri. Try to get some Ahri points while we can, because he's already played the Kai'Sa, so we can attack with that this turn, which is nice. And then we do hold up the Fight and the Retreat. Okay, it's gonna Stupefy on the Ahri. That signifies to me that he probably has a falling star coming. Yes, it does. So, like you see, if we played the Kai'Sa there, then the Kai'Sa would have been dead because we couldn't have protected it. But here we can actually use the retreat to just bounce the Kai'Sa back. No, bounce the Ahri back. We're also gonna get a recruit out of the Victor for that. And then the Victor dies, unfortunately, but at least we did get the recruit, so we can conquer something on the following turn. Potentially. And he's gonna conquer with the Sprite Mother and play out a Noxus Hopeful. And maybe spend the rest of our turns. Okay, no, it's just gonna move the Kai'Sa back. Yeah, you kinda don't wanna have the Kai'Sa holding, you kinda wanna attack with him again and again to get the... or attack with her, I should say, again and again to get the extra points. Okay, but here we are gonna play out the Kai'Sa. He already used a falling star, and I mean, if he has another one, then, you know, it is what it is. We just want to get this Kai'Sa out, because we don't really have anything else we want to play. We don't want to play the Ahri here, we'd rather play the Kai'Sa. Okay, it's gonna take you to the recruit, conquer with the Kai'Sa, that is fine. It's gonna draw one card, go up to 6 points, so we are a bit behind. We are on 4 and he's on 6, so we do have to kinda get something to stabilize here. But we can attack into this Kai'Sa if we want to, and we do have the Defy to stop an eventual smoke screen or something. Okay, plays out a Darius. That doesn't do anything here. That does not do anything here. Okay, and it's gonna go into the battlefield with the Hopeful, that's fine. Okay, we draw the Charm, that's interesting. But okay, we're gonna first attack into the Kai'Sa with the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa with the Kai'Sa. He's gonna smoke screen, we do have the Defy for that, which is pretty good. Then it's gonna play a retreat, that is fine. You can retreat that. Okay, we do get the point for holding, or for conquering I mean, which means we can go into our discard and see what we have. So we realistically only have the Charm, but the Charm is exactly what we need, because we can charm the Darius here. The Darius would have been a 7, but since we countered that smokescreen, our opponent only like played one spell or one card, which meant that the Darius was still a 5, which was nice. And then yeah, we have to recycle. So the Kai'Sa says that when you use the spell, you have to recycle it. Don't just put it back into the trash. And that's just what I did there. But yeah, that feels really good. Just double charm. Yep, we're gonna float one and then bottom deck one, because we do have to pay the power cost of the card we used from the trash, which I mean is fair enough. And then we're kind of thinking about our next move here, because our opponent is running low on cards, and we do have that smoke screen, and we kind of want to keep that smoke screen open as well. But we are actually going to use the second charm to just take care of that Sprite Mother as well. Yep, Sprite Mother's dead. And then we're just going to pass over our turn to our opponent. We do have the smoke screen up, so if we want to do something funny, we can use that. Like here, for example. So that's going to give a minus to the Watcher. So that is going to be a 3 to 6. And then we are going to use the smoke screen to make the Watcher a 2. So that's a really, really good trade for us. Like, just being able to negate that 1000-nail Watcher with one card is insane. And then because of the Conquer, we can, or because of the ganking, we can go over to the other battlefield. We're kind of thinking here because we might actually want to play something else out, but we do try to play out the Ahri first, just because in that way we can try to hold here as well. And we do have the charm in the graveyard or in the trash that we can use as well. So yeah, let's see. We go into the battlefield here, Conquer, go into the trash, get the other charm the Noxus Hopeful back and kill that. And then now, I mean, that is really the power of the Kai'Sa. And like here, we're on 7 points. If he can't take both these battlefields, he's gonna lose. And yeah, he can't. He's just giving us a GG, and that's it. Yeah, you really saw the power of the Kai'Sa there, and the fact that it has ganking and we can do this every single turn is so powerful. And we just managed to delete his whole board in 2 turns. And the fact that we have the smoke screen for the 1000-nail Watcher, and that is really the power of a smoke screen. For 2 energy, you're minus 4 might. And with the Ahri Legend as well, giving the 1000-nail Watcher a minus 1 might from before, like that is minus 5 might in total for 2 energy, which is insane. And then we played 4 charms that game, and 2 that came from the trash. So yeah, that was a really good showcase of the Kai'Sa. Let's see if we can do it again. And game 2 is going to be against Yasuo. We are on the Reaper's row. Our opponent is on the Zon Warrens. So let's see if we can repeat the success from the previous game. Okay, we're going to go first. We are going to lead off with the Zonage Hourglass. Not really what we wanted to lead off with, but it is nice to just get some protection out early. And we're going to play out the Ahri after our opponent played out the Traveling Merchant. So now we have a lot of protection for this Ahri. We have both the Zonage Hourglass and we have the Retreat if we want to use that, even though we don't really want to use that. Okay, our opponent is going to attack with a Merchant, discard draw, get a point, that's fine. He is on 5 energy. So let's see what he decides to do with that. Okay, nothing, he's just going to pass, okay. We draw into a Defy, which is really nice. That is going to be able to stop a lot of stuff. We would really like a Charm here, because then we could potentially attack into the Reaper's row and then, or the Zon Warrens, and then just charmed the Merchant. He's playing a main deck acceptable losses. That is very annoying. He's gonna take care of our Zonage Hourglass there very effectively. We could have defied that, but I think we'd rather save the Defy for something that costs a bit more, honestly. Like just defying a 1-cost spell doesn't feel that good. But yeah, we're gonna get rid of one of these retreats. We probably don't need both of them. And we draw into a Ravenloom Student. Well, that's a good card to just play out. We're gonna play it out on the base because we are a bit vulnerable here with the Ahri. We have a Defy in hand, and we also have the Finder Center and Retreat, which can do something. He's gonna play out the Tasty Feyfolk. Okay. And he's gonna pass to us. He's gonna discard a Possession. So that is something that we really have to pay attention to. He is playing Possession in the deck. He's playing some really spice in this one. But we are going to play out the Kai'Sa. Hopefully the Kai'Sa survives. If it does, then that is really good. We are very happy about that if it does. Okay, our opponent is going to get 1 point for holding. Yeah, we really want this Kai'Sa to survive because we can potentially play the Finder Center and then attack with the Kai'Sa and play another Finder Center. Just draw. We can also use the smoke screen. Okay, it's going to play a stacked deck. Do some digging. And then it's going to play out a White Flame Protector. Yeah, the kind of swing back card in green. We're going to use the Retreat on the Ahri there to just channel 1 and save our Ahri. Then he's gonna discard a Gust and draw 1 card. Okay, so he's on 4 points. So he does have quite a lead. We can easily take care of this Traveling Merchant, unless he plays out a card there, a hidden card. We do have the Defy, so if that's a fight or flight, we can defy that. But we are going to lead off with the Finder Center. Drawing into his Anish Hourglass is really good there, because that is going to allow us to protect the Kai'Sa. So we're going to attack, force him to... Okay, we're actually going to attack with the Ravenbloom Student first, because since we played the Finder Center, that is a 3 I mean. So we can kind of see what this guy has going here. Okay, he has the Tide Turner, so he's gonna switch places with the White Flame Protector. That is not what we expected. We tell him like, wait, we may have something to do here, because we do have the Smokescreen in hand. So we could potentially -4 that White Flame Protector and then be able to trade with the Ravenbloom, which it seems like we're gonna do, because Ravenbloom is gonna grow from that. So that is gonna be a 4/4. And then we can attack with the Kai'Sa and finish off the Traveling Merchant. And then play something from the trash. We don't have a Charm, which we would really like here. We are just going to play back a Finder Center, draw 1, channel 1, and then put the card to the bottom of the deck and pass the turn. But okay, I guess before we pass the turn, we're going to play out the Ahri. And we're also going to hide the... not that one, not the Defy. We're going to hide the Anish Hourglass. And pass to our opponent. Okay. So we really would like a Charm at some point, because we do need to take care of this other battlefield as well. The Kai'Sa has the ganking, but we would really like to see some form of buff spell. He plays the Possession. The Possession here is pretty bad for us. That is a huge tempo swing. We're not really playing around the Possession in the main deck. That is what the side deck is for. But yeah, all of a sudden our opponent has a Kai'Sa, and we don't. We only have the Ahri, and we have the other Ahri. But I mean, I guess against a Kai'Sa and a Feyfolk, it doesn't really do much. But okay, we will play it out, see what happens. We do have a Defy and a Smokescreen open, and we do also have his Anish Hourglass in the hidden, if we need that. But yeah, that Possession really got us. Maybe I should build a deck around that, build a deck around Possession. That could be fun. Okay, it's gonna attack with the Kai'Sa. That is annoying. He's gonna get the Gust from the trash and move back our Ahri. We are gonna try to defy that. Even though it doesn't really feel good defying that when he has a handful of... yeah, and he's just gonna defy or defy, and the the Ahri is gonna get bounced back to the hand. We lost one of our most powerful cards there, because the Ahri is gonna give everything a -2. We do have the Smokescreen, so we could potentially do something with that. Okay, it's gonna play a Feyfolk and immediately fire off the Discipline. So the Feyfolk is gonna go to a 5, and then it's gonna go to a 7. And the Poro is also gonna go to a 3, so that is 7/7 as of now. We're kind of debating. We could play the Smokescreen. He does have 4 energy up, so we could potentially have another Defy, but we are gonna try it out, because we can't lose all of this. Okay, that is fine. That is gonna go to a 3. That means he's gonna trade with the Poro. Yep. Now let's see what else he has. I mean, 1 Charm here and we're basically dead, because then he's gonna be able to kill the Ahri and we don't have anything else on the board. Okay, he's gonna play Raza. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna use the Yasuo to move the Raza up. That's pretty good. That's a pretty sick play, actually. Yeah, he's gonna go to 7, and looking at our hand, we don't really have anything to combat this, and that is just gonna be the GG. Yeah, the Possession really got us. Like him just getting his Kai'Sa, and then, I mean, taking the Kai'Sa is one thing, but the fact that he attacked with the Kai'Sa and then used the Gust from the trash to bounce back our Ahri was such a good play. I mean, I really admire him, and I think his deck looked pretty sweet. I mean, I don't know about the main deck acceptable losses. Because against a lot of decks that is just going to be a non-bo, and if you don't have gear yourself, then you want to, like, maybe he's playing the Scrap Heap in the deck. I don't know, maybe he does that. But okay, yeah, that was it was a fun game, even though we did lose. But yeah, sometimes that happens. And game 3 is going to be against Yasuo. We are again on the Dreaming Tree, and our opponent is on the Zone Warrens. So yeah, we lost the last game to a possession. That is not something we have to play around here, so let's see how this goes. We are gonna lead off with the Riftbound student, which is a pretty good draw. We do have 2 Kai'Sas in hand, so we are gonna be able to play those at some point. He's gonna lead off with a Trifurian Glory Seeker. We're gonna conquer with the Riftbound student into the Dreaming Tree and passing the turn, holding up both the Discipline, the On Guard, and the Stupefy. Okay, he's gonna attack with the Glory Seeker here, discarding a Faithful Manufacturer and playing out the Baited Hook. Okay, so this is a Hook Darius deck. Let's see if he gets the Vanguard Captain off this. He does not, he only gets the Trifurian Glory Seeker. That is very good. That is not the card that he wanted to see there. And he plays out a Poro. Okay. We get a point for holding. I think we're just going to stay here. We're just going to pass back to him. We don't really want to play out the Ahri because we do want to keep our Discipline and like more spells open, because if we play out the Ahri here, then we only have room to play 1 spell. And we kind of want to play more than that. And we also don't want to play out the Kai'Sa because then we don't have anything. So yeah, we're just going to stay here, chill a bit. We are in the lead, so we're not on a rush yet. And he only has 3 cards in hand. So yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, it's going to conquer, move back a Spectral Matron. Or discard a Spectral Matron, I mean. And then he plays out the Darius, and then he's going to use the Hook. Take the Glory Seeker with him. We get a Draven. Okay, the Draven is pretty good. That is going to grow the Darius as well, but fortunately we do have a bunch of spells to take care of that. So we're going to start off with the Discipline. Drawing 1 off the battlefield and drawing 1 off the spell. So that is going to super replace itself. Our opponent is thinking, because he does have 1 card. He does have the Cleave. Okay, the Cleave is fine. He's also going to draw 1. We're going to draw 2. And the Bloom is going to grow to a 5. So the Darius is now on a 9. Because he got a minus from the Ahri, and we play the On Guard, growing it by another 3, so we're currently on 8, and then if we play 1 more card, we are gonna be able to go and get over him. So we're gonna make the Darius an 8 and make the Riftbound a 9, and then we draw into a Discipline off the Stupefy, and we draw a 3rd Kai'Sa, which is, I mean, yeah, it's a good card. So yeah, here we are actually gonna play it out. We're actually gonna play both into the Dreaming Tree here. Do you have a way to take care of our Kai'Sa here? Okay, he's just gonna play out his own Kai'Sa to conquer that battlefield. That is totally fine by us. Discards a Daring Poro and draws a card. That is totally fine by us. We can just attack into that battlefield and with our own Kai'Sa and kill that. But he's gonna use the Baited Hook on the Glory Seeker. Okay, what is he gonna get off of that? Spectral Matron, okay, that's good, but it doesn't really have any good targets in his stretch, is the problem. He's gonna get back the Faithful Manufacturer, okay? He's gonna get a Groot, so he's getting quite a big board. We're gonna immediately attack over with the Kai'Sa, kill the Kai'Sa. And then what do we have in the trash to use? Yeah, we're gonna use the effect first. We're just gonna use the Discipline. Give the Riftbound a buff on drawing 2 cards because of the Dreaming Tree, which is not bad at all. And then we have, I mean, we have so many cards on hand. And we also have the Ahri. I think at this point we're just going to play out the Ahri. See if we can get that to hold. Then we are going to just stay with the Riftbound student. We have so many cards in hand. We have 4 energy up, so we could do a bunch of stuff. We also have the Retreat if we need to use that. So we're feeling pretty safe here. Okay, it's going to play another Seal, and it's going to play the Grand Stratagem. Yeah, the Grand Stratagem is kind of the way we lose this, I guess. Ouch, yep. But it's not over yet, because he's only on 3 points, and using a Grand Stratagem early like this means that he's kind of desperate. But we have a bunch of spells, and our battlefield with the Kai'Sa and Ahri is pretty big. There, it's 10 might there, and Ahri is going to give -1 to whatever attacks it. And we do have a bunch of spells to buff and minus as well, so let's see if we can like turn this back into our favor somehow. Okay, so the Draven is a 10, and the Spectral Matron is an 8. He's gonna attack with a Poro though. And we do have the Defy. No, I'm sorry, we do have the Retreat, so we could protect something here if we want to. But taking out that Draven is also pretty relevant, because after this turn, if he conquers here, then he's gonna become a 7. And then it's just gonna become even more difficult to take care of for us. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna take care of this Draven. That is a 10, and our stuff is also 10, so that is just gonna cleanly trade with that. And then we do have the Feyfolk, we have the Watcher, so we have ways of taking this battlefield back on the next turn. Okay, it's gonna attack with the Glory Seeker and the Recruit. No, I'm sorry, the Manufacturer and the Recruit. Now what do we decide to do here, is the question. We're kind of mathing this out. Okay, play Discipline. We draw 2 off that, go up to 5. A Retreat and a Poro. Not really what we're looking for. We're gonna play Stupefy on the Faithful Manufacturer. Go ourselves up to 6. And the Manufacturer down to a 5. Then we're just gonna trade with that, and we're gonna lose our Ravenloom student as well, but at least we can take something with us. And like now his board is also almost, I mean basically almost gone. And I guess another Draven, okay, that's pretty scary. But we do have the Watcher in hand, and we also have the Faithful in hand. Yeah, we're just gonna play out the Watcher. Very cleanly, just clean up that battlefield. Not get to 80 points, but go to 6 points. Gonna discard the Poro. We draw an Hourglass. That is something we are definitely gonna hide. And then we pass to him. Okay, the Draven is currently an 8. And if you conquer that, the Dreaming Tree is gonna be 9. Yep, it goes to 6. That is a 9 now. And what does he have? He plays another Draven, and he plays a Noxus Hopeful. Okay. Does he want to use the Beta Took? Does he want to use the Beta Took? That is the question. Okay, what does he want to get? Or what does he get? I mean, yeah, Spectral Matron, okay. I mean, that is the card you want to get off the hook usually. And the Faithful Manufacturer, yeah. I mean, that's just not gonna matter because we actually do have lethal here. Now, can you see the lethal? I wonder. Like, just take a moment and see if you can see how we can win this. I mean, it's not really that complicated, but yeah. As I said on the Decktech, the retreat can also be used offensively, and that is exactly what we're gonna do here because we have exactly enough. We have 9 energy, so we can play the retreat, move the Watcher back, pay 8. And then the Draven is a 9, and the 1000 Watcher is gonna turn it into a 6, and that is gonna be exactly enough for us to win. Okay, so yeah, again, we didn't get to use the Ahri, and I mean the Kai'Sa did something there. We got to just like draw 2 cards off the Discipline, which was really nice, and our hand at the end was just massive. And like sometimes, like there we could have used a retreat to save either our Ahri or our Kai'Sa. But at that point it was like, okay, well, his units are big now. They're going to be really small next turn, except for the Draven, and the Draven is just going to keep growing. So we'd rather just take care of that. And then we were on a point lead, and we had the Watcher in hand, so we could just take care of that battlefield on the next turn. And the same with the Ravenloom student, we could have saved that as well. But we'd rather we wanted to use a spell on the battlefield, so we could draw 2 cards like the Discipline, and then we also wanted to just take something with us. We don't just want that to die without like getting something back. And at that point, like he only had 3 units left. He used the Beta Took on one of them, and yeah, that was just from there on. He lost a lot of tempo, or he lost a lot of board presence by using the Grand Stratagem. Even though it took care of our board, we really managed to clean up a lot of his as well. And yeah, in that way, like in the end, we had exactly enough. We had 9 runes, so we could use 1 rune to retreat the Watcher, and then use 8 to play him out, and then the Draven was like just below the wire. So yeah, really satisfying win. Alright, and game 4 is going to be against Teemo. We are again on the Dreaming Tree, and our opponent is on the Abandoned Tree. So double tree here. We have a bit of an awkward hand. We don't have any units in our opening. But yeah, let's see if we can get this win out of the way. Okay, we draw into a Feyfolk, not what we want. We just have to pass here. Our opponent plays out the Ahri. Okay, that is dangerous. We draw into a Smokescreen. Again, not what we want. And losing this early tempo is really bad for us, because Ahri really likes being in the lead. Yep, he is gonna attack with the Ahri, get a point. Then he's gonna hide 1 card, and Another Ahri, okay, so yeah, he's kind of playing our deck better than we are. Okay, we're drawn to a Riftbound student, which means that we at least have something we can use. But unfortunately, that is all we have. So we just have to pass back. He's gonna go to 3 points this turn. And we're still on 0. So we are quite far behind. But you know, never give up. Okay, he's gonna hide another card. I mean, that was the Teemo from the tap-in zone, so we at least know that was that. But if we can move this Ahri out of the way, then that could be... Because we do have the charm, so we could potentially do that. But the problem is that... The problem with the Ahris is that it's so difficult to take back the battlefield from Ahri. Because whatever we use to attack, that is just gonna give it -2. So this Riftbound student needs a lot of help to take care of this Ahri. And our opponent has 4 energy up as well. So we could just pump this Riftbound student up, and then he could just use a fight or flight to move it back again. And we sadly don't have Defy. But okay, we're gonna use the Discipline. It's important to attack with the Riftbound student first, so that the minus of the Ahri triggers first, and then we can use the Discipline. And our opponent is gonna react with a Gust. That is pretty annoying. As I said, we don't have the Defy for that, and we don't have anything to stop that. So yeah, that is unfortunately just gonna happen. And that is gonna set us off a lot, set us back a lot. But we do draw one off the Discipline, at least. And then here we're set back. We're just gonna have to rebuild, play out the Poro, play out the Riftbound student, and the pass to him. He's gonna go to 5 points, and we're still on 0. So yeah, this is looking pretty bad for us. We had a really rough start. If we found like one of these cards early, then this might have been a different game, but since we didn't, well, it is what it is. Okay, it's gonna hide another card at the Dreaming Tree. Yeah, all these hidden cards, I mean, that's what kind of makes playing against Teemo so scary, because you never know what he has. And he also has 6 runes on top of that, so he could do a lot of stuff here. So we have to be really careful with how we sequence this. Yeah, we're just gonna attack in with the Tasty Feyfolk. We do have on guard, we have Stupefy, we have Smokescreen. Now the only thing we can protect against is the Fight or Flight. But yeah, we're gonna try to attack into that. And that is a Consult the Past, okay. Okay, well that is not a Fight or Flight. So for now, that is good. We're still gonna kill the Ahri. Okay, he's gonna play Stack Deck. That's scary. Did he get it? Okay, he's gonna play another Stack Deck. Redraw. This Teemo matchup this Teemo matchup is so tense. You're kind of sitting on the edge of your seat the whole game. Just please don't have the Fight or Flight. I don't have the Defy. Okay, he chose a card. He has 4 runes left. Okay, he's gonna use the... Okay, so that was a Consult the Pass on the other battlefield as well. He's gonna draw 2 more. Okay, does he get it now? Okay, he gets to ride the wind. Okay. Yeah, so he's gonna be able to protect the Ahri, which is pretty annoying. But okay, he's gonna use that on the Ahri, and then move it back to the base. Yeah. He does get to draw one off the Dreaming Tree. And we got our final point. Oh, not final point. We got our first point of the game. Which doesn't feel as good when your opponent is on 5 points, but you know, better late than never, huh? And then here it's kind of like, well, we know what he has on the battlefield. We know that is a Teemo. So we know that attacking into this battlefield doesn't really work. So we're just gonna pass the turn, and then hopefully we can get him next turn. Okay, now he plays a Fight or Flight. Okay, maybe he had it all along, or maybe just didn't want to play it. Okay, he's gonna move that back. We still don't have the Defy. Here, yeah, he's gonna conquer. We can't do anything to stop that. He's gonna hide another card. Hide another card. Okay, he is all hidden up again. Man, Teemo is such a cool deck, right? Oh, he's so fun to play. He's gonna play out a Traveling Merchant. He has 3 energy up still. Or 3 runes up still, so he could have stuff, which we're not fans of. He has a Teemo on the battle tree, and then the other hidden cards, we don't know what they are. Could be a Fight or Flight, could be Consult the Past. We know he plays both of those. But yeah, he also has to rest one more rune because of all that. He kind of miscounted his runes. But me, being the eagle eye that I am, I spotted that. Yeah, so okay, he correctly rests his final rune, and then, well, let's see what we can do here. We just have to go for it at some point. We are going to attack into this battlefield with the Feyfolk. And then see what he has hidden there. That is a Blast Cone Fey. Okay, so that is interesting. That is going to give it a -2, so this is going to go to 2. We're going to use the On Guard to make it a 4. Yep, we are also going to draw for that. We're also going to give the Ahri a -2. Yep, that's fine. And then the Raven Bloom is going to grow to 4 because we played 2 spells this turn. And then we're going to play a Smokescreen. Yeah, that was a really bad math for me. What I should have done, I should have just used the Smokescreen on the Ahri and not used the Stupefy at all. That was pretty bad for me. Okay, it's going to use the Consult the Past. Draw into something bad, hopefully. Okay, yeah, okay, let's just get that. We go to 2 points, and we kind of have to go into this battlefield. And the thing is that we could have used the Charm there, but the Charm into the Feyfolk would just mean that the Feyfolk would die. So we attack with the Raven Moon first. We're gonna try to force him to use the hidden card. Okay, he's gonna use it finally, the Teemo. That is a 4-might unit when it enters. We're gonna use a Smokescreen out of that, just make that a 1 right away. And then the Raven Bloom is gonna grow to 4, and then we're gonna be able to take care of both of those. Unless our opponent has something. Yep. And then he has a Fight or Flight. Yeah. That is pretty bad for us. We do still have ways to take care of this. We can play the Charm on the Ahri, move that over. Yep, that's gonna go to a 2, and then we can use a Smokescreen to make the Ahri a 1. And then we can attack with the Poro into the Teemo that is now a 1 and take care of that as well. So we actually managed to take back both battlefields here. Yeah, we're hanging on by a thread. I mean, that was... I kind of felt like Thanos. Like, how much did it cost? Everything. So yeah, but we also hide the Hourglass there, and then we pass the turn with 1 card in hand, and he has 5 cards. No, 6 cards actually. He's gonna Gust the Poro. Okay. He's gonna be able to attack with the Traveling Merchant. He's gonna discard 1, draw 1, and draw 1 more X as well. Okay, it discards an inverted timeline. Yeah, so he is using some spice as well. A lot of spicy deck builders out there today. And I respect that. Then he is gonna play out the Dr. Mundo. And yeah, the Dr. Mundo is not really what we wanted to see. That is a card that we're not able to take care of with our deck. Especially not now. We have this board, and he's also going to play out the Raza. And the Watcher is like the take back the game card. But in this case, it just doesn't do enough. Like, this Mundo is humongous, and the only card we could have used to take care of that would have been the Charm. But yeah, like everything here is just way too late. Like, right, we didn't get to play Eunice before turn 3. And then he used the Gust to bounce it back, and then, you know... after that we just had to like rebuild, and he was on 5 points before he got 1 point, and then, you know, sometimes we just don't draw our early drops and we just fall way too far behind, and then when it gets to the late game where, you know, we don't have enough to catch up. So yeah, but yeah, fun game as well. Teemo was a really fun deck to play against, and he's really fun to play as well. I can't wait to try him out some more. But okay, on to the final game. Okay, and we are gonna end things off with Darius. We are on the Reaver's Row, and our opponent is on the Triferian War Camp. And again, we have an amazing hand with no units. So let's see if we suffer the same fate as we did the last game. Okay, we're gonna draw into a Discipline. Yep, not a unit. We're just gonna have to pass. He's gonna play out a Faithful Manufacturer. We're gonna draw the Raven Loom Student. It would have been great to have that on the previous turn, but we didn't. We're just gonna play it out and pass to him. He's gonna attack with the Recruit, get a point. He's gonna attack with the Manufacturer, get another point. I think it was correct to attack like the other way around. Because this way we can just trade into the recruit, or we can just attack over the recruit with the Riftbound student. But I guess maybe he wanted to use the beta took here. Or maybe not. Okay, he's gonna play out the Vanguard captain, get out the units, or get out the recruits. We're gonna attack into the war camp with the Riftbound student. That is just a very clean swing with that. We could potentially play out the Kai'Sa here, but again, we don't really want to play a route when we don't have protection. Yeah, so I'm kind of debating what to do here. We're just gonna pass here. And in hindsight, I think it was probably better for me to just use the Find Your Center on my own turn, because in case he doesn't attack into the battlefield, then that is just a whole turn wasted for us. Where we could at least have gotten some value out of it by using that. But we wanted to keep up both the discipline and smoke screens. And yeah, he's gonna attack with the Darius. Yeah, that is Ahri's gonna give it a minus, so that is gonna be a 6, and our Ravenbloom, or a 7 actually with the battlefield, and our Ravenbloom is a 3 with the battlefield. Do we have the smoke screen here? I mean, we can take care of this Darius. The question is just how do we want to do it? Yeah, we're going to just use the smoke screen. Make the Darius a 4, and we're going to go to 4. No, make the Darius a 3, and we're going to go to a 4. And that is just very cleanly going to take care of that. But then before he dies, because we can actually do stuff, then we're going to use the Finder Center. Yeah, important to do that. Important. And then the Ravenbloom student is going to grow another one. And we draw into the Thousand Tail Watcher, which is a pretty good card to have up in our sleeve whenever we need it. Okay, we're gonna get 1 point for holding. We're gonna draw into another Kai'Sa. We're gonna play out a Kai'Sa. Because now we do actually have some protection for it, and we also have the retreat in case everything goes wrong. We don't want to play out into the battlefield because Darius is playing yellow, so he could play Hidden Blade, and we currently don't have a way to stop that outside of the retreat. And we'd rather not use the retreat. But okay, he's gonna attack with the Vein and the Faithful Manufacturer into our Ravenloom student. We do have the smoke screen, so we can trade with something here. The question is, what do we want to trade with? Okay, we're gonna smoke screen the Vein. The Vein is gonna go down to a 1 actually, which means that we're actually gonna be able to trade with everything. So again, smoke screen, just an insane card. It's such a swingy card for such low investment. Yep, smoke screen, just an insane card. The Darius is still hanging around in the spell zone, but that's fine. Okay, he's gonna use the baited hook here to get out the Draven. Yep, that is a pretty good one. And then it's just gonna pass to us. Okay, we draw the Victor. The Victor could be good here, but I think we'd rather just attack with the Kai'Sa, get a point. Do we have anything in the trash do we want to use? Yeah, we're gonna use the Find Your Center, of course. We don't really have anything else we want to use here, so we just use that. And then we can play out the Victor. Then we can... We probably don't want to keep the Ravenbloom student here, even though that has just been sitting and just dominating this battlefield. If he does attack with the Draven, then, you know, we can still use the retreat. Well, we're also going to get a token off of that. Okay, we're going to use the discipline first. Hoping to find something. And we also get the draw off. That is a 6. And then we get the Foxfire. Yeah, the Foxfire is not what we want here, unfortunately. But we're going to play out the recruit. And then, I mean, what we could do here, we could actually use the retreat on the recruit, and then make the Ravenbloom student grow to a 7, and then being able to trade with the Draven. But that is a bit risky, because we could have something to just kill the Ravenbloom student. We do have a Defy, but he also has a bunch of energy up, so let's see what we decide to do. Yeah, we just decide to try to save the Ravenbloom student instead. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna get another recruit, which is nice. And he's gonna just fill up that battlefield. And it's gonna kill it with the baited hook. See if he gets something. Or he's just gonna hit a Poro. That is a really bad hit from him. He wanted to get anything but that. And he's gonna build a bit more on the battlefield. He's gonna play on another hook and kill another recruit. He's just grinding through his deck here. Okay, he's gonna play another Draven. That's pretty good. I mean, it's good for him and it's bad for us. But it's only gonna play it into the base, and that gives us an opening to play the Mr. Thousand-Tailed Watcher, which we of course really like. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. Can't really pass this opportunity up. And the thing is that because we played the Draven, we drew the charm, we can actually kill this one, and then we can charm the other Draven, because that also gets a -3 from the Watcher. And when we charm him, is gonna get another minus from the Ahri. And yeah, this is also one of the reasons that we really want to be on high energy, like a high rune count, because we want to have opportunity to play stuff like this. Like we played a Thousand-Tailed Watcher for 8 energy, we played Charm for 1 energy, and then we still have Defy up. And this is like exactly where we want to be with this deck. Like just to be able to do stuff on our own turn, and then also have leftover energy to do stuff on our opponent's turn. So yeah, this is kind of what the deck was meant to do. Yeah, we're just gonna build up this battlefield. I mean, now we're actually playing the token deck better than he is. We're also gonna hide the Foxfire, because the Foxfire is gonna be able to take care of, I mean, the Poro if he attacks with that, or the Recruit if he attacks with that as well. Okay, he's gonna use that on the Poro. He's gonna play the Vanguard Captain. That is unfortunately not gonna get him something, and he's gonna give us a GG. Yeah, like the power of green, I think, is just. And I mean, honestly, I've seen people argue that Charm should have probably been Ahri's signature spell, and I kind of agree with that, because Charm is just an insane card in green. And the fact that you get to use it, like here, we could play the Watcher and then kill his Draven, and then use the Charm to get the other Draven, because the Watcher, of course, gives -3 to everything on our opponent's side. So yeah, but yeah, you really see like the importance of actually being able to maintain your runes. And I decided not to play any seals on this deck. I could play 1 or 2 seals, but I really wanted to fit as many spells and as many units as I could. So I went with not any runes, but that is why we play the Finder's Center. And we also play the Feyfolk, because just getting your runes back and like staying on a high rune count is just so important in this deck. And really saw why here. And that is Spellslinger Ahri. Yeah, I think this deck is sick. I really think like Victor and Kai'Sa, like playing these in a green, like a combination with green, is really feels like the way to go, especially with the Victor, because Victor has to have you playing stuff on your opponent's turn. And the fact that green and blue, for that matter, with the retreats and the disciplines and the smoke screens, the fact that they have so many cheap and good efficient spells, means that this really works really well in a green-blue deck. And I wonder if, like in the future, we get a green-blue deck that is more centered around just using spells in general, because I mean, Ahri is not really built for that. At least that's not how I think about her. But I think also for the Kai'Sa, just being able to use, like, if you don't have anything else you can use the effect on, you can just use a Finder's Center, get a rune, get a card, just get a free draw. And then the other game where we can just use this to play Discipline on the Dreaming Tree to just get 2 free draws off of that. Like, it's such a value card, and I think that's a really fun way to play Kai'Sa. Like, you could also play her in combination with red, which is kind of what she was meant to be doing. But that also, like, really, you don't get the same value for free there, because you don't have the draw from green. You have like the blue cards, which are mostly, you have the Stupefy, which you could use. But then if you don't have that, you almost only have like the removal spells. And the removal spells are really dependent on your opponent having stuff that you like can't target, because a lot of the red removal spells only target on battlefields. So I think like playing Kai'Sa in this deck is actually really, really cool. And they also, I mean, the spell package is like the numbers are a bit like, I have 2 charms, I have 2 stupefies, I have 2 Finder's Centers. Like, these numbers could be tweaked for sure. But I think I like having all of these cards. The only one I'm kind of considering maybe not running as a 3 of is the On Guard. Maybe I could go down 1 On Guard and maybe up 1 Finder's Center, for example. It really just depends on the preference, I think. And also maybe I could, like, Kai'Sa is nice, but you never really play 2 of them, because you can only get the effect off once per turn, unless they both start in your base, which is really unlikely. So I may also go down to 2 of this, even though it is very important. But we do, as I said, we do have a bunch of card draw in the deck, between the Discipline and the Stupefy and the Finder's Centers, of course. We do have ways of just finding Kai'Sa, so I think like going down to 2 Kai'Sa and 2 Victor, I think that is a sweet spot. And then we can instead just go up one of these spells like the Finder Centers or the Stupefy, for example. And then maybe also just getting an extra Poro could be nice, because we did lose the Teemo game. I mean, the Teemo game was one of the big reasons we lost was that we didn't get something to play early, like before turn 3. And by that time it was just way too late. So yeah, maybe that is something like a consideration to make for the future. But yeah, that is the end of the video. Please leave a like and subscribe.